How do you produce millions of chocolate bars every single day without missing a beat? You are looking at one of the most sophisticated food manufacturing operations on the planet. Today, we are taking you inside the massive Hershey's operation to reveal the complete 13-minute journey from the machete in the jungle to the high-speed robotics on the factory floor. This is how Hershey's is actually made. If you want to see how other massive things are made, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss our next factory tour.
It all starts here, on the equator. The cacao tree is picky. It only grows in a narrow belt around the world. Once the pods are harvested by hand, because no machine can navigate these forests without damaging the trees, the beans are extracted. But here is the crucial step: fermentation. You see those banana leaves? They aren't just for show. They trap heat. The farmers pile the wet beans into wooden boxes and cover them up. Over the next 5 to 7 days, a natural chemical reaction occurs. The sugars in that white pulp break down. Temperatures inside the pile rise to over 120 degrees Fahrenheit, and the germ inside the seed dies. This heat is vital. It changes the bean from a bitter purple seed into a brown, chocolatey precursor. Without this week of rotting, yes, controlled rotting, chocolate would have no flavor. Once the flavor is unlocked, the fermentation must be stopped immediately, or the beans will spoil. The beans are spread out under the hot tropical sun. Farmers rake them constantly to ensure even drying. We are looking for a very specific number here. .2%. That is the magic number. If the moisture content is higher than that, mold will grow during shipping. If it's too low, the beans become brittle and break. It's a delicate balance. Strike before the beans are bagged into burlap sacks. Now the raw ingredients begin a journey of thousands of miles, from the humid rainforests to the industrial ports. These sacks are loaded into shipping containers, crossing oceans to reach the manufacturing heartlands. Arrival. But before these beans can become a Hershey's bar, they have to pass the test. You can't just dump 1 million pounds of agricultural product into a food factory without checking it first. Quality control technicians take core samples from the sacks. They are looking for defects, insects, or improper fermentation. They slice the beans open to check the color. A good cacao bean should be a rich brownish purple and cracked with fissures. If they pass inspection, they are cleaned, filtering out rocks, twigs, and dust before entering the factory proper. This is the moment the factory starts to smell like heaven. The cleaning process is done, and now comes the roasting. Just like coffee, raw cocoa beans are acidic and harsh. Roasting develops the flavor profile. The beans are tumbled in massive drums at temperatures pushing 300 degrees Fahrenheit. The heat triggers the Maillard reaction, browning the beans and releasing those volatile aromatics we associate with chocolate. But we can't eat the whole bean. The outside shell is hard and fibrous. The beans are sent through a winnower, which cracks them open and uses air jets to blow away the light shells, leaving behind only the heavy, dark center, the nibs. This is the heart of the chocolate.
The nibs are solid, but they contain about 50% fat, cocoa butter. When you grind them under high pressure and heat, that fat melts and the dry nibs turn into a thick, dark paste called chocolate liquor. Despite the name, there's no alcohol in it. Now we have to make a choice. If we press the liquor, we can separate it into two parts: cocoa solids, which make cocoa powder, and cocoa butter, the fat. To make a milk chocolate bar, we need to reassemble these ingredients with some new friends. Into the mixer goes the chocolate liquor, extra cocoa butter for melt-in-the-mouth texture, sugar for sweetness, and of course, milk. For Hershey's specifically, the milk handling is unique. Fresh milk is often used and processed to give that distinct, slightly tangy flavor profile that the brand is famous for. The mixture at this stage tastes good, but the texture is wrong. It's gritty. It feels like sand in your mouth because the sugar and cocoa particles are still too large. To fix this, the chocolate travels through a series of heavy steel rollers. These rollers crush the particles down to a size smaller than the width of a human hair. The human tongue can detect graininess at 30 microns. This machine grinds it down to below 20. Once it's a fine powder, it's heated and liquefied again in a process called conching. These massive granite or metal rollers and paddles churn the chocolate for hours, sometimes days. This aerates the chocolate, releasing unwanted acidic acids and coating every single microscopic particle of sugar and cocoa butter. This is what creates that velvety, silky texture. We have liquid chocolate, but we aren't done. If you just let this cool down naturally, it would end up dull, soft, and it would melt in your hand instantly. You need to temper it. Tempering is a process of heating and cooling the chocolate to specific temperatures to align the crystals in the cocoa butter. We are looking for beta V crystals. These crystals give the chocolate a glossy shine and that satisfying snap when you break a piece off. The tempered chocolate is deposited into molds. For a standard bar, it's a simple pour. For variants with almonds, the nuts are dropped in first or mixed into the flow. The molds vibrate violently for a few seconds, shaking out any air bubbles that would ruin the smooth surface.
The molds enter a massive cooling tunnel. This isn't a freezer, but a controlled environment that gently brings the temperature down. As the chocolate cools, it contracts slightly, shrinking just enough to pull away from the sides of the mold. At the end of the line, the molds are flipped. Clack, clack, clack. The bars fall out, perfectly formed. Rows and rows of identical soldiers, marching toward the wrapping line. The speed here is blinding. Modern wrapping machines can handle hundreds of bars per minute. Optical cameras scan every single bar. If a corner is chipped or the logo is smudged, a jet of air kicks it off the line. Only the perfect ones make it to the wrapper. They are sealed for freshness, boxed into cartons, and stacked onto pallets by robotic arms that never tire. From the pallet, they go to the warehouse, and from the warehouse to a truck. It is a long journey, from the machete in the humid jungle to the fermentation boxes, the roasting drums, and the high-tech robotics of the factory floor. It takes months of work and thousands of miles to create this simple moment of joy. So the next time you hear that foil crinkle and take a bite, remember the journey. That is the taste of science, agriculture, and engineering, all wrapped up in sweetness.